Have you ever paused to wonder what true happiness really feels like? Not the fleeting kind, the thrill of a new car, or the excitement of a promotion, but something much deeper, something unshakable. Imagine a happiness that doesn't fade when life gets tough, a joy that stays with you no matter the circumstances. Sounds almost impossible, doesn't it? But what if I told you that the answer lies in a secret passed down through generations of Buddhist teachings? A profound wisdom that reveals happiness isn't something you chase, it's something you cultivate. It's already within you, waiting to be uncovered. The world around us often tells us that happiness comes from achieving more, owning more, or being more. We run after these goals, hoping that they'll fill the emptiness inside. But deep down, you might feel what so many others feel, a sense of longing that never truly goes away, no matter how much you accomplish. That's because external achievements, while exciting in the moment, are temporary. They don't address the root of true contentment. Buddhism offers a different path, a path that starts by looking inward. It's not about rejecting the world or giving up on your dreams. It's about understanding that real happiness comes from changing your relationship with yourself, with others, and with the world around you. Today, I want to share this secret with you, not just as a concept, but as something you can apply to your own life. If you've ever felt there must be more to life than the endless chase, this is your moment to discover what you've been missing. Let's begin this journey together, step by step, uncovering the wisdom that can transform not just how you see the world, but how you experience it. This isn't just about finding happiness, it's about creating it every single day. Think about this for a moment. How much of our lives do we spend chasing happiness? We work harder, aim higher, and accumulate more money, more possessions, more recognition, believing that once we have enough, we'll finally feel complete. It's an endless race, isn't it? But here's the thing no one tells you. The more you chase, the more happiness seems to slip through your fingers. That fleeting moment of joy when you buy something new or achieve a big goal, it fades, doesn't it? And then you're left searching for the next thing, convinced that it's just out of reach. Buddhist teachings offer a powerful explanation for this cycle. They tell us that happiness tied to external things is like building a sandcastle during high tide. No matter how carefully you construct it, the waves will come. The tide will rise. It's inevitable. External happiness, no matter how beautiful or fulfilling it feels in the moment, is always temporary. It's vulnerable to change, loss, and circumstances beyond our control. But here's the secret. True happiness doesn't come from the outside. It's not something you have to earn or chase. It's already within you. Think about that for a second. What if the joy you've been searching for all along isn't somewhere out there, but something you've been carrying with you all this time? Buddhism teaches that real, lasting happiness is about cultivating a sense of peace and contentment that isn't dependent on external factors. It's about finding joy that isn't shaken by the storms of life. So, what if you stopped chasing and started looking inward? What if, instead of building sandcastles, you learned to anchor your happiness in something unshakable? This isn't just a comforting idea, it's a practical truth that you can begin to uncover right now. The key is in your hands. The question is, are you ready to use it? Let's talk about something we all experience but rarely want to face: suffering. It's universal, isn't it? Whether it's the heartbreak of a lost relationship, the sting of disappointment when life doesn't go as planned, or the relentless stress of daily responsibilities, no one escapes it. Suffering is a part of being human, and yet we spend so much of our lives trying to avoid it. We distract ourselves, bury it deep, or pretend it doesn't exist. But here's the truth that Buddhism reveals. Suffering isn't just a burden, it's a teacher. Think about that for a moment. What if your pain wasn't something to run from, but something to learn from? Imagine the struggles you've faced in your life, the moments of grief, frustration, or fear. Didn't they also teach you something? Maybe they showed you the strength you didn't know you had, the value of patience, or the importance of compassion. Buddhism teaches that suffering isn't the enemy. It's through our pain that we grow, evolve, and uncover a deeper understanding of who we are. This perspective changes everything. Instead of resisting suffering, what if you embraced it? Not in a way that means giving up or wallowing, but as an opportunity to transform. Buddhism calls this the beginning of awakening, when we stop seeing suffering as something to fear and start seeing it as a gateway to wisdom and peace. It's in those moments of struggle that we are given the chance to learn, to let go of what no longer serves us, and to discover a resilience we didn't know we possessed. Pain, no matter how difficult, holds a purpose. It's a mirror, reflecting back the parts of ourselves that need healing, compassion, and growth. The first step in unlocking the Buddhist secret to happiness isn't to escape suffering, but to face it with courage and curiosity. When you do, you'll find that it's not just a source of pain, it's a path to transformation. The question is, are you ready to take that first step? Buddhism offers us a profound and practical roadmap for navigating the challenges of life, a guide that begins with the Four Noble Truths. These truths aren't just ancient philosophy, they're a mirror held up to the human experience, reflecting realities we all share, but often fail to confront. Let's break them down, because each step holds the key to transforming your life. The first truth is simple, yet powerful. Acknowledge suffering. It's universal. Whether it's physical pain, emotional heartbreak, or the subtle dissatisfaction of feeling like something is always missing, suffering touches every life. But instead of running from it, or pretending it doesn't exist, Buddhism invites us to look it in the eye and say, I see you. This isn't about being pessimistic, it's about being honest. Only by facing suffering can we begin to understand it. The second truth takes us deeper. Suffering stems from craving and attachment. We cling to things, possessions, relationships, ideas of how life should be, and when they change or slip away, we feel pain. Think about it. How often have you felt unhappy because something didn't go the way you wanted? This truth isn't blaming us for our pain. It's revealing the root cause so we can start to let go of the patterns that keep us trapped. The third truth is like a breath of fresh air. Freedom from suffering is possible. Imagine that for a moment. What if the weight you've been carrying, the worries, the frustrations, the fears, could be lifted? This isn't just wishful thinking. It's a reality that Buddhism promises when we begin to change the way we relate to the world and ourselves. Freedom doesn't mean life will be perfect. It means you'll find peace, even when it's not. And then comes the fourth truth, the one that ties it all together, the Noble Eightfold Path. This is the how, the practical steps you can take to move from suffering to peace, from chaos to clarity. It's not about rules or restrictions. It's about cultivating habits of mind, speech, and action that align with your deepest values and lead to a more joyful life. These four noble truths aren't abstract concepts. They're a framework for understanding the nature of life, breaking free from the cycles of dissatisfaction, and building a foundation for lasting joy. They invite you to stop reacting to life and start living with intention and wisdom. The question isn't whether suffering exists, it's what you choose to do with it. Will you let it define you, or will you let it guide you toward freedom? The choice is yours, and the path is waiting. Think about the things you're holding on to right now. Maybe it's an old grudge that replays in your mind like a broken record, reminding you of the hurt someone caused. Maybe it's expectations of yourself, of others, of how life is supposed to be. Or maybe it's fear of failure, fear of change, fear of the unknown. Now close your eyes for a moment and imagine what it would feel like to let all of that go. Imagine the weight lifting off your shoulders, the tension melting away from your chest, the freedom of no longer being tied to things you can't control. Buddhism teaches us a profound truth. Clinging creates suffering. When we hold tightly to something, whether it's an idea, a desire, or a memory, we create stress and resistance within ourselves. It's like trying to hold on to water in your hands. The tighter you grip, the faster it slips away. But letting go, that creates space. Space for peace, space for new possibilities, space for you to breathe again. Letting go doesn't mean giving up on life, your dreams, or the people you love. It doesn't mean detachment in the sense of apathy or indifference. Instead, it's about releasing your need to control the outcomes of everything around you. It's about recognizing that life has its own rhythm, its own flow, and trusting that flow even when it doesn't go according to your plans. Think about how much energy we spend trying to resist change. We fight against the inevitable, holding on to what feels familiar and safe. But change is the very essence of life. The seasons shift, relationships evolve. Even our own thoughts and emotions rise and fall like waves. When we stop clinging to what was or what we think should be, we can start to experience life as it is, a constantly unfolding journey. This trust in life's natural flow is where true freedom lies. It's in saying, I may not control everything, but I can control how I respond. I can let go of fear, of judgment, of attachment, and embrace what comes. Letting go isn't a loss. It's a gift you give yourself. It's the key to unlocking a life filled with calm, clarity, and the kind of happiness that isn't dependent on outside circumstances. So ask yourself, what are you ready to release today? And how will that space you create make room for something greater? When was the last time you truly stopped and gave your full attention to the present moment? Not multitasking, not thinking about what's next, but really being here, fully present. For so many of us, life becomes a blur of rushing from one thing to the next, replaying old regrets from the past, or worrying endlessly about the future. And in that blur, something profound gets lost. The life that's unfolding right here, right now. Mindfulness, one of the most treasured teachings in Buddhism, is the art of being fully present. It's not about doing more or achieving something extraordinary. It's about experiencing life as it is, in its raw and beautiful simplicity. Think about the last meal you had. Were you truly aware of the flavors, the textures, the way it nourished your body? Or were you scrolling on your phone, distracted by thoughts of your to-do list, or a conversation from earlier in the day? Mindfulness invites you to pause and pay attention, not in a rigid or forced way, but with a sense of curiosity and openness. It's about being fully here when you're eating, walking, talking, or even just sitting quietly and breathing. It's noticing the warmth of the sun on your skin, the sound of leaves rustling in the wind, or the rhythm of your breath moving in and out. These moments, often overlooked, are where true life resides. Here's the secret. The present moment is the only moment that's real. The past is gone. It exists only in your memory. The future hasn't happened yet. It exists only in your imagination. But the present? This is where your life is happening. When you bring your awareness to the here and now, you'll start to notice something incredible. The simplest things, a child's laughter, the feel of your feet touching the earth, the first sip of morning coffee, begin to shine with a kind of quiet magic. And in that magic lies true contentment. You realize that happiness isn't some grand achievement waiting for you down the road. It's right here, hidden in the small, ordinary moments you've been too busy to notice. Mindfulness is the practice of waking up to your life, one breath, one step, one heartbeat at a time. The question is, are you ready to slow down and truly live it? Compassion is one of the most profound and transformative teachings in Buddhism. It's not just about extending kindness to others. It's about understanding the deep truth that our happiness is deeply connected to the happiness of those around us. When you practice compassion, it's like dropping a pebble into a still pond. The ripples spread far beyond the initial touch, creating waves of positivity that reach everyone in their path, including yourself. But here's the part we often forget. True compassion begins with yourself. Think about how you talk to yourself on a daily basis. Are you your own harshest critic, quick to point out your flaws and mistakes? Or are you your own best friend, offering support and encouragement when life gets tough? For so many of us, the inner voice is far from kind. And yet, how can we hope to genuinely care for others if we can't show that same care to ourselves? Self-compassion doesn't mean making excuses or avoiding accountability. It means acknowledging that you're human, that you'll make mistakes, and that's okay. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you'd offer to someone you love. Imagine how freeing it would feel to stop beating yourself up over every misstep and start embracing yourself as you are, imperfections and all. When you practice self-compassion, something remarkable happens. That kindness you extend to yourself naturally begins to radiate outward. You become more patient with others, more understanding of their struggles, because you've learned to be patient and understanding with yourself. Compassion, both for yourself and others, isn't just a feel-good philosophy. It's a way of breaking down the walls that separate us, a way of building connections that are rooted in empathy and care. Buddhism teaches that compassion is a strength, not a weakness. It's the ability to see another's pain and wish to alleviate it, not because you have to, but because you want to. And in doing so, you find that the act of giving compassion is also an act of receiving it. The more you give, the more joy it brings into your life. So, start small. When you catch yourself being overly critical, pause. Replace the harsh words with kind ones. Show yourself the understanding you deserve. From there, let that kindness ripple outward, touching the lives of those around you. Compassion is the secret to not only healing others, but also healing yourself. One small act of kindness at a time. The Noble Eightfold Path is one of Buddhism's most powerful teachings, a timeless guide for living a meaningful, balanced, and fulfilling life. It's often described as a path, but it's more than that. Think of it as a recipe, a carefully crafted formula that helps you align your actions, thoughts, and intentions with a deeper sense of purpose and peace. Each step on this path isn't a rigid rule or a command. Instead, they're practices, gentle reminders of how to live with integrity, clarity, and compassion. Let's break it down, step by step. Right understanding is about seeing life as it truly is, not through the lens of our fears, desires, or misconceptions, but with clear awareness. It's recognizing the truths of impermanence, interconnectedness, and the nature of suffering. Right intention builds on this, encouraging us to approach life with kindness, honesty, and a genuine desire to do no harm. Right speech is about the power of words. Words can heal or hurt, connect or divide. This practice invites us to speak truthfully, kindly, and thoughtfully. It's not just about avoiding harmful speech. It's about using our voice to uplift and unite. Imagine how much more peaceful your relationships could be if every word you spoke came from a place of care. Then there's right action, which focuses on living in a way that doesn't cause harm to others or yourself. It's about aligning your actions with your values, choosing compassion over cruelty, generosity over selfishness. Right livelihood takes this one step further, asking us to ensure that the way we earn our living supports not only our well-being, but also the well-being of others and the planet. Right effort reminds us to be diligent in cultivating good habits and letting go of negative ones. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Every small effort you make toward kindness, mindfulness, or patience adds up over time. Right mindfulness is the practice of staying present, fully engaged in the here and now. It's about noticing life as it unfolds, whether you're walking, eating, or simply breathing. Finally, right concentration teaches us to focus our minds with clarity and calm, often through meditation. It's about training the mind to remain steady, even in the midst of chaos. With concentration, you develop the ability to navigate life's challenges with grace and composure. Each part of the Noble Eightfold Path weaves together, creating a framework for a life that feels whole, purposeful, and deeply fulfilling. These practices aren't meant to be mastered overnight. They're meant to be lived, explored, and integrated into your daily experience. When you walk this path, step by step, you'll begin to notice a profound shift, a life that feels more balanced, a mind that feels more at peace, and a heart that feels more open. This is the gift of the Noble Eightfold Path, and it's waiting for you to begin. Meditation isn't some mystical practice reserved for monks or spiritual gurus living in remote monasteries. It's for everyone, yes, including you. In a world that feels more chaotic by the day, filled with constant noise, endless notifications, and the relentless pull of responsibilities, meditation offers something rare and precious, a moment of stillness, a chance to breathe. When you meditate, you're not trying to shut your mind off or force yourself to feel calm. Instead, you're learning to observe your thoughts as they arise, without clinging to them or pushing them away. Imagine standing on the edge of the ocean, watching waves roll in and out. The waves are your thoughts, sometimes calm, sometimes stormy. Meditation teaches you how to stand on the shore and watch, rather than being swept away by the tide. Even just 5 minutes a day can make a difference. Those 5 minutes become a pause button for your mind, a chance to step back from the chaos and reconnect with yourself. It's like resetting your mental compass, giving you clarity and a sense of calm that can ripple through the rest of your day. And the beauty of meditation is that it's incredibly simple. You don't need fancy equipment or a perfect setting. All you need is a quiet space, your breath, and the willingness to just be. Through meditation, you start to see life differently. The little annoyances that used to upset you lose their grip. Stress becomes more manageable, and moments of joy feel richer and more meaningful. You realize that inner peace isn't something external you need to chase. It's something you cultivate within yourself. Buddhist teachings often describe meditation as a gateway, a path to lasting happiness and profound self-discovery. But it's not about achieving some ultimate goal or being perfect at it. It's about showing up day after day and giving yourself the gift of presence. Each moment spent in meditation is a step closer to understanding yourself, to finding peace amid the noise, and to living a life that feels truly balanced. So, why not try it? Set aside just a few minutes today. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and let your breath guide you. The waves will come, and they will go. All you have to do is stay on the shore and watch. In that stillness, you might just discover a kind of freedom and happiness you never thought possible. Here's a truth about life that can feel both liberating and unsettling. Nothing is permanent. Everything we experience, our emotions, our relationships, our possessions, even the seasons of our lives, is in a constant state of change. At first, this might feel like an uncomfortable reality to face. After all, as humans, we naturally crave stability, something to hold on to in a world that often feels unpredictable. But what if this truth wasn't something to fear? What if instead it was the key to finding freedom and peace? Buddhist teachings remind us that impermanence is not a flaw in life, it's its very essence. The beauty of impermanence lies in its ability to teach us to cherish the present moment. Think about it. If everything lasted forever, would we still find it as meaningful? A breathtaking sunset, the sound of laughter from a loved one, the warmth of a hug. All these moments are precious because they're fleeting. They remind us to pause, to savor, to truly live in the now. When we resist the reality of impermanence, we create suffering. We cling tightly to things, people, and situations, trying to freeze them in time. But no matter how hard we try, change is inevitable. Relationships evolve, circumstances shift, and even we, as individuals, are constantly growing. Instead of clinging, Buddhism invites us to embrace impermanence as a natural and necessary part of life. This doesn't mean we stop caring or detach ourselves emotionally. On the contrary, it means we love more deeply and live more fully, knowing that each moment is unique and cannot be repeated. By accepting that nothing lasts forever, we let go of the fear of loss and the anxiety of trying to control the uncontrollable. In doing so, we open ourselves up to the joy of simply being. Impermanence also brings a profound sense of hope. It reminds us that pain, no matter how deep, will not last forever. Just as the darkest night gives way to dawn, the challenges we face are not permanent. Change is what allows healing, growth, and transformation to occur. It's what makes life dynamic, unpredictable, and ultimately beautiful. So the next time you find yourself clinging to something, a relationship, a memory, or even an idea of how things should be, pause and reflect. What would it feel like to let go, to appreciate it for what it is in this moment, without trying to hold on to it forever? In that letting go, you might discover a sense of peace and freedom you never thought possible. Life is a series of moments, each one a gift. Embracing impermanence allows us to see those moments clearly and to find gratitude in their transience. It's not about living in fear of change. It's about finding the courage to flow with it, knowing that every ending is also a new beginning. Life is a constant series of ups and downs. One moment, everything feels like it's falling into place, and the next, you're facing a challenge you didn't see coming. These fluctuations are part of being human, and while we can't control the waves of life, we can control how we respond to them. This is where equanimity, one of Buddhism's most profound teachings, comes in. It's the art of staying steady, of remaining calm and clear, no matter how turbulent things become. Equanimity isn't about being emotionless or detached. It doesn't mean you stop caring or turn into a robot who doesn't feel. Instead, it's about finding balance, a state where your emotions don't overwhelm you, where you're able to respond to life's challenges with grace rather than reacting with panic, anger, or despair. Imagine being in the middle of a storm, but standing firm, grounded, and unshaken. That's the power of equanimity. Think about the last time something threw you off balance. A stressful day at work, a misunderstanding in a relationship, or a personal setback that felt overwhelming. How did you react? For most of us, it's easy to get swept up in frustration, anxiety, or self-doubt. Equanimity offers a different way. It's like learning to surf the waves instead of letting them pull you under. You acknowledge what's happening, but you don't let it control you. Equanimity doesn't come naturally to most of us, but it's a skill we can cultivate. It begins with mindfulness, the practice of observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment. When you notice a strong feeling, whether it's anger, fear, or sadness, you don't suppress it or act on it impulsively. Instead, you take a step back and create space to respond thoughtfully. This pause is where clarity lives. It's where you can decide how to navigate the situation with wisdom and composure. Another cornerstone of equanimity is understanding impermanence. Everything in life is constantly changing. Your circumstances, your emotions, even the people around you. When you truly embrace this, you stop clinging to the highs or fearing the lows. You realize that both will pass, just as seasons change. This perspective allows you to meet life with a sense of acceptance, knowing that no challenge or triumph is permanent. Equanimity also helps us avoid being overly reactive to other people's behavior. How often do we let someone else's actions dictate our mood or mindset? Equanimity teaches us that while we can't control others, we can control our own responses. It gives us the strength to stay grounded, to listen without judgment, and to act with intention instead of reacting out of habit. Imagine how liberating it would feel to carry this sense of balance into every part of your life. To handle a stressful job with calm confidence, to approach a difficult relationship with patience and understanding, or to face personal setbacks without losing your sense of self-worth. Equanimity doesn't mean life will stop being challenging, but it does mean you'll meet those challenges with clarity, strength, and grace. The road may be rocky, but with equanimity, you can walk it with steady steps. It's not about avoiding the storms of life. It's about finding your inner calm within them. And as you cultivate this balance, you'll discover a resilience that transforms how you experience everything, from the mundane to the extraordinary. This is the gift of equanimity, a secret to navigating life with peace and power. The ultimate Buddhist secret is this: happiness isn't something you chase, find, or achieve. It's something you cultivate, something you nurture from within. It's not out there in the world, waiting for you to stumble upon it. It's already within you, quietly waiting to be uncovered, like a treasure buried just beneath the surface. Through mindfulness, compassion, and acceptance, this treasure reveals itself, transforming the way you see yourself and the world around you. We often spend our lives looking outward for happiness, believing it lies in success, material possessions, or the approval of others. But no matter how much we gain, there's always that lingering sense of longing, that voice that says, "Is this all there is?" Buddhism teaches us that happiness isn't about accumulating more. It's about letting go of what weighs us down. It's about creating space in our hearts and minds for joy to grow. Happiness is not a destination you reach after ticking off all the boxes. It's a way of being that starts right here, in this very moment. When you practice mindfulness, you begin to notice the beauty in the ordinary, the warmth of the sun on your face, the sound of laughter, the simple pleasure of taking a deep breath. These are the moments that remind us that happiness isn't grand or elusive. It's in the small, often overlooked details of daily life. Compassion is another key. When you treat yourself and others with kindness, you break down the walls that separate you from the world. Self-compassion is especially important. How often do you criticize yourself, replaying mistakes or doubting your worth? Imagine replacing that harsh inner voice with one of understanding and encouragement. When you show yourself love, you create the foundation for genuine happiness to flourish. Acceptance is the final piece of this puzzle. Life isn't perfect, and it never will be. There will be struggles, losses, and imperfections. But when you stop resisting what you can't control and start embracing life as it is, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means making peace with what is and finding joy in the present. Every single moment is an opportunity to reconnect with this truth. Start small. You don't have to make dramatic changes overnight. Begin by being fully present in one moment of your day. Notice what makes you smile and hold on to that feeling. Let go of what no longer serves you, whether it's a grudge, a fear, or an unrealistic expectation. Practice kindness, not just to others, but also to yourself. Happiness isn't out of reach. It's not something you need to earn or deserve. It's been with you all along, quietly waiting for you to notice. The journey to uncover it isn't about becoming someone new. It's about rediscovering who you've been all along. This is the ultimate secret of Buddhism. The happiness you've been searching for has always been within you. The question is, are you ready to embrace it?